John, you will have to create, everybody else, you have to create your own network. And the way to do it, John, is not to go out and introduce yourself and say, hey, I'm John, I'm a chiropractor, I'm new in town, let me tell you what chiropractic is. That will shut doors right and left for you. Be interested in people. So what I suggest to you is to see yourself as a hub of a wheel that has spokes. And those spokes are made of all of the people that you can refer people to. Massage therapist, osteopath, homeopath, acupuncturist, naturopath, nutritionist, physical therapist, medical doctor, maybe even ER doctor or nurses, life coaches, psychologists, and go in your community and through the network of social media, connect with those people and say, I would love to meet you. And if you have their phone number, call them. Hi, my name is John. I'm interested in what you're doing. Is there any way we could meet briefly so that you could tell me about yourself and what you're doing? And as you become interested in them, at some point, they will return the ball and say, so John, I'm curious. You came to me. I'm a massage therapist. What is it that you do? And don't say, I'm a chiropractor. Say, I'm a vitalistic chiropractor. Or in the Cafe of Life model, we would say, I'm the owner of a Cafe of Life. And the reason I created that model, the Cafe of Life, is because I wanted people to reframe very quickly what is it that chiropractic is. So if I say I'm the owner of a Cafe of Life, they'll say, well, what is it? What is it that you do at the Cafe of Life? And then you can reframe chiropractic for them. So as a lesser degree, if you say, I'm a vitalistic chiropractor, many people will say, oh, I've been to a chiropractor before, or I've heard of chiropractors, but I've never heard of vitalistic chiropractors. What is that? And again, it gives you an opportunity to reframe in their mind cleanly what chiropractic is. If you only say, I'm a chiropractor, you are more likely to encounter a preconceived idea or a preconceived experience that they have had, or, oh, you're all about backache and neckache, huh? And then you have an uphill battle to reframe what is it that you do. So John, my communication is clear in practice. Because I came from that world before being a chiropractor, I can very authentically say, medicine is wonderful. Medicine is needed. They specialize in symptoms, sickness, and disease, and morbidity and pathology. That's the expertise. On the other hand, my field of expertise is life, health, healing, wellness, and well-being. So let me ask you this. If you want light in your home, do you go to somebody that studies darkness? And then everywhere you go, in your town, the grocery store, be interested in the clerk at the supermarket. When you're done, just touch us gently on the arm or on the hand or on the shoulder. Hey, thank you so much. Good to see you. Have a good day. In an authentic way. Don't make it fake. But make yourself be seen in your community for who you are. And then people over time will be interested in you. And they'll say, that clerk at the grocery store will say, there's a guy his name is John. He comes in, he has a mustache and a little goatee, and he comes in like 2 or 3 times a week, and he's so nice. I really wonder what he does. And her girlfriend or his girlfriend will say, why don't you ask him? The other thing, John, that you can do is whenever you see somebody or hear somebody talking about some kind of distress that they're in, don't go right after them and say, hey, I'm a chiropractor. Why don't you call me? No. Say, here's my card. I overheard that you're suffering or that you're having no problem. I would love to help you. Here is my card. And walk away. It is never good, as a rule, there is exception, outside your office to start to teach chiropractic. Once they are in your office, that's a different story. Because now they're in your world, in your own environment. You have the circumstances, the context to bring them into the fold. Yeah? And my last thing, John, before I take another question, is since you're graduating and getting in practice soon, as a rule, the biggest mistake most new graduates do in practice is to want to so much bombard people with what chiropractic is. On the first visit, establish a rapport, a connection, be interested in them, hear them really well. Yet, do not deviate from what is it that you do and what is it that you don't do. The time to explain chiropractic is either if you do it via Zoom or video I recommend personally a bi-monthly talk in your office. That is not necessarily a lay lecture. You know, we could do a 1-hour talk on symptomatology and understanding the language of the body. That is a talk that in the center of that talk, at some point organically, you will give a quick explanation as to what is it that a chiropractor do as a service. But the talk in and of itself will be an understanding of fever, of coughing, of sneezing, of cold, of flu, of diarrhea, of bladder infection, of kidney infection, of repair from a broken bone, of repair from a torn rib cage, of repair from a cut. So you give them an understanding of that because that is valuable for them to take home. Then what do you think they're going to say to their friends? I went to this guy, John, and he gave a 1-hour talk that gave me an understanding of my body and how my body talked to myself. That's really valuable. 2 weeks later, you do a talk on life force. People will go home and talk to their husband or wife and say, I never really thought of it that way. I never realized the power that animates my body. That the life force is the energy that moves the puppeteer. It's a puppeteer that moves the puppet, right? That pulls the strings. That's the life force. I never got that. Now I realize when I cut myself that yes, it healed because I'm alive, because there is a life force. The same cut on a corpse won't heal. Bingo. Now they feel they want to go back to your next talk 2 weeks later or a month later. And that's how you grow a crowd and a community in your practice. So I have, not hundreds, but like 30, 40 different topics that I use that are all about health, life, healing, wellness, and well-being intertwined with chiropractic philosophy. And that's a path to build a rock-solid community, a constituency, and a practice. If you only do a lecture, you will have followers. You will not have a constituency of self-responsible, self-accountable, self-reliable human beings that are free. You will have people that are still enchained in their belief in you, in what you have sold them. So it's a different path.